Okay. And so now that we have the unit all put together, and want to kind of walk through about the operation of our Auto Enthusiast 4-post and a little bit about the accessories, although we talked some of the during the time frame with the live web stream, just doing a little recording here. Again, for all the Home Enthusiast 4-posts, essentially what makes it that is the size and shape to fit into a garage. And so here it is, you know, we're less than 10 feet wide and obviously fits inside here. This is a freestanding unit, and I always like to have people go, you know, when we have it on here, do the push test, because one of the things with our unit, with everything built together, when it's finally together, you just see very little shaking of that lift, and it just means it's very structurally sound out there. The other thing to make it a home storage unit, this one is just a plug-in the wall, 115 volt power unit, and they all have manual lock systems, so you don't need air. But then Mike's done all the adjustment, and so now we're ready to just kind of test it out and operate it. So to raise the unit, basically you just have a push button that you just push in here, and the cylinder is now retracting to pull the unit up. And you hear that click right there, that meant that these are self-engaging lock system, which meets all the ANSI standards for safety and security. So as it goes up, the locks will go along in these lock ladders, and you're going to hear that click as it goes up the lock ladder.
About how far apart are those locks, the clicks? How many inches each? It looks like about 4 inches maybe?
Yeah, exactly. Basically 4 inches. And so they start all the way down here at about 10 inches. So you have a lot of adjustability so that if you can't raise your car real high, or as you want to work on it, you can keep it down a little bit lower, a little bit higher, what you please. Mike did a really good job with the adjustment, because one of the things you can hear is that almost all the locks are engaging and slapping over all at the same time. Whereas sometimes if after you did your installation and even after you're riding for a while, if all of a sudden you start to hear click, 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 maybe you need to go back and readjust the lock ladders because the cables, things have settled down a little bit in the system. So again, with the car on here, you're going to raise it as high as you want. Always, whenever you raise the unit and put a car up on here, you always want to lower it down to the locks. So you never want to keep it on the hydraulic cylinder. You want to make sure that the locks are fully engaged. So you have just a manual lowering valve, which basically ports the pressure away back to the reservoir inside there. And so you basically can see that it's gone down. The cables have gone a little bit slack, which means that the lift is now resting on the locks. So now this would be a fine place to actually work on the vehicle, or if you're storing it. In order to lower the lift, you'd actually raise it up. You'd start it up, raise it up off the locks. And at that point, you can take your hands free. You have your little manual lock mechanism, so you've got to just going to rotate it in a clockwise direction. And with the tie rod that runs on the outside here, and with the tie bars that are inside the crossbeam, from this one point, you're going to disconnect the lock in all the 4 columns. All you do is disconnect it, and you go on the lowering valve, and you'll lower the lift down. With all basic manually operated Auto Enthusiast 4-posts out here, you do have this two-handed operation, which is kind of nice that you keep.
So you're holding the lock piece. You're holding the lock open, the locks, while you're also lowering it down there.
Correct. Okay. Correct. Now what I want to do right now is just I'm going to raise this up here quickly. I think we can still see while we're recording. Just real quick on some of the accessories, we do have a couple wheels-free options, and so we talked about the versatility and functionality of this lift. Has this rolling jack rail system, and we have an optional type rolling jack, etc., so that you can actually slide it underneath the front of the vehicle. We have adapters that actually go up underneath the adapter set, so you can actually pick up the vehicle from up underneath, so you get a wheels-free condition.
And we'll do that once we put the Jaguar up there. We'll take the front wheels of the car up.
So this is a nice feature. You can have other lower end options with the what's called the jack tray and a couple of bottle jacks. We have the basically sheet steel drip tray sets. We have also a storage platform set if you wanted to, which actually is basically large aluminum platforms that will fit between the runways and makes them one clear floor top here, so that if you were, say, storing 3 or 4 UTV vehicles or a motorcycle and a bunch of boxes, that you could actually make this a load-bearing center area all the way across the center here. So from other options, I don't know if Ken, if you can just kind of shift it to the back here to
Oh,
the
sure.
ramps here real quick.
Let me shift the camera around here.
We talked before from the streaming side is our lifts come standard with aluminum ramps. These are very thin types of aluminum ramps, but they're very sturdy out there. Easy to store away also between the ramps here. But essentially with home storage types of lifts, these are manually operated types of ramps where you actually put them on here. Once you put the vehicle up in the air, or before you lift it up, you take those off, and then you have a wheel chock that you would put in their place. The other option that we've also come out with is that you can buy as an upgrade kit an extended ramp option, which is essentially the same as these aluminum ramps right here, but they are 50 inches long. So if you had a really low profile vehicle, that 50 inches basically fits so that as the front tire is near the top of the ramp, the rear tire is picked up so you don't get any issues with spoilers or hitting up against the low profiles. And we're going to be sending Ken a set of those because he's got
Got a low profile car.
yeah, got a low profile car, so we're going to make that happen.
Do you want to show them one of the little stops it goes into? You
Yeah,
can have
so
take one of those out, maybe, and show them the stop.
So in the rear, basically, you would just, after you get the car raised up there, you put in a nice solid wheel stop right here, so there's no way that the vehicle can roll off, either front or rear, with these wheel chocks on there.
And if it did, it would roll through my garage door, which would be closed, so. All right, do you want me to stop this one?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, we'll stop this recording for now, and this, of course, recording will be available later as well.